Hey everybody, welcome back. What we're going to be going over today is a brief overview of AWS Academy. I'm going to show you their learning management system interface, and we're going to go through a fairly brief demonstration of how the labs work in this. It's not something we're going to be using a lot of. It's more a resource that you can have to go through on your own time if you want. They have a lot of videos, a lot of quizzes, things of that nature. If I want you to do anything in AWS Academy specifically, I will call that out in our learning materials. But if you want to explore more on your own, this is an environment that you can play in. So without further ado, this is AWS Academy. So I am in a module for Cloud Foundations, and this one is going to be very similar to a lot of the other ones that we could use. I'm fairly certain I will give you access to at least two of them. Some of them have a little bit more powerful demos. The thing to really talk about, though, while we're in here and why we are not doing more things with AWS is that when we are working in AWS Academy, you don't have access to do whatever you want in AWS like you do in Google Cloud. Basically, all of the labs in here are sandboxes that are gone once you are done with the lab. So it's kind of like the Cloud Skills Boost labs in that it's provisioned temporarily, and then once it's gone, that's it. You don't get to save anything. AWS doesn't provide free credits like Google does, at least currently. Who knows, that may change in the future, but for now, these are more, if we are doing something in Google Cloud, there's a parallel in AWS, and here's what it would look like. So kind of the environment that we have here, there's a lot of guides, there's videos. So if you want to learn more about AWS, by all means, check these out. They are useful. They'll show you the interface and show you everything. But again, just kind of keep in mind that you're not doing it live in an AWS environment that you have control over. So it's not going to exist once you're done. But honestly, if it's something that you are interested in, if doing the cloud career path is your thing and you want to get experience with AWS, check all of these out. You're already given free access to this through our course. But what I wanted to show you was how the interface kind of works. I will say it does take quite a while to provision some things too. So you're probably going to see some weird cuts in this video because it takes a while. A while. Okay. I had to click modules to go back for some reason. All right, so let's say that I wanted you all to go out and do a lab. Let's not do IAM, that one's boring. Launch your VPC and build your VPC and launch a web server. Standard type of thing that I would have you do in Google Cloud. Easy enough, right? Launch a web server, you create a compute engine instance, install Apache, boom, you're done. Build your VPC is something we all get to a little bit later on. This is essentially your virtual private cloud. You're creating a network specific to your environment that you want to set up, including things like firewalls and egress allowances and things of that nature. All right, but importantly, what you're going to see is this big load lab button. So I'm going to click that. I get a new pop-up. We go over to Vocarium, which is an external tool, kind of like their Cloud Skills Boost equivalent, and you get your lab walkthrough. Again, very, very similar to Cloud Skills Boost and how you do that. Okay. What you're going to do is click Start Lab. There's no credits for this like there is with Cloud Skills Boost, by the way. Just by being a member of this LMS, you have access to it. This is the thing that takes a little while to spin up, so I'm going to pause and then I will be back momentarily. Okay, that probably took about 5 minutes of waiting. Maybe 3 minutes. So I think you get an hour and a half to do this lab. So I'm at 127. Nice of them to take off time that their service is provisioning. But what you are waiting for after you click Start Lab, so you get a little indicator that it's loading. You also have this green AWS button here that says it's ready. But basically all you do for these labs, I'm not going to go through this whole thing for you. You'll probably end up doing this one yourself. Basically follow along with the instructions. Again, very, very similar to the Cloud Skills Boost Labs. But what's going to happen once you are done is I will get a notification that you have successfully completed the lab, or I will get a percentage of how close you got to the end of it. And just for your reference, when I go to grade them, I'll go based on the completion rating, or sorry, the completion percentage. It's going to be a flat percentage from 100%, basically. These aren't really too hard, so maybe I'll do the VPC aspect and then I'll leave the rest as an exercise to the student. Okay, so I need to get started here. Okay, so I need to click the AWS link, which is going to give me a pop-up. Firefox is going to block that. All right, and I'm going to break this off here and move it over to the side. Move this over here. This. There we go. Okay, lovely, lovely. Here's our AWS interface. Get all the helpful pop-ups that first-time users get. And looks pretty similar to Google Cloud, right? Different interface, different layout, but here's our home console. Here's our most used services, help bar at the top, search for what service you need. Pretty straightforward, right? All right, let's get through this first part of the lab. So I'm going to create a VPC, subnets, security group, EC2 instance. I'm just going to do like a minute or two of this, and then I'll leave the rest for you all. So start lab, I did that. I clicked the AWS button, which is good. Yes, I'm going to get credit for my work. Cool, cool, cool. All right, I'm going to go to services, and then I'm going to choose VPC. Okay, so I want that. I'm going to create a VPC. Easy enough. Okay, choose VPC and more. Okay, we're going to let it auto-generate. Change the value from project to lab. Okay, I'm going to do that. You want to make sure that you are following the instructions for the correct fill in the blank so that you get credit for your work, right? And it's going to tell you if you did it right or you didn't do it right too. Number of availability zones, choose one. Okay, private subnets and public subnets, we're going to leave as one. Okay, CIDR blocks or KIDR blocks or CIDR blocks, whatever your favorite pronunciation is of these. Let's see, customize subnet CIDR block. Keep the IPv4. Interesting. Change, I can't read, sorry. Change it to 24. So this is a way to divvy up IP addresses. Recommend looking into CIDR because it is a lot more powerful than the standard octet-based IP address assignment. Basically, you have full control over it rather than getting chunks of IP addresses. Okay, and we're going to change this one to 10.0.1.0/24. Easy enough. NAT gateways to in one AZ, one availability zone. Okay, no endpoints because we're not going to allow endpoint access. And DNS host names and resolution enabled. Okay, in the preview, this is what we should see. All right, so I see a VPC, I see a subnet, web subnet, US East 1A, RTP public, private East, cool, looks good. Choose create VPC. Okay, it's gonna take a sec, and then we're gonna choose view once it's done. I like that the details here at least give you an exact idea of what it's waiting for. When you're in Google Cloud, it just says spinning, spinning, spinning. Okay, let's see, once we view. All right. Okay, that only took a couple minutes, so not too bad. So I'm gonna click View VPC, and here is all of my detailed information that I need for the virtual private network, virtual private cloud, comprising a network that I set up. So I've got the resources that we saw before. I see the address ranges that I set. You also see DHCP, routing tables, DNS, all that standard stuff that you would get when you set up a network environment. Other than that, the rest of the lab is adding more subnets, spinning up a virtual machine instance, security groups. Again, I probably will make you run through this on your own, but it's not all that bad. Really, the thing that you should be taking from this is less that, oh my God, this is the craziest thing in the world, we're doing this. More, okay, we already did this in Google Cloud. This is how you do it for AWS, right? It's not all that different. The concepts are all the same, right? We still have the idea of a virtual private cloud, a nice walled garden for our network to resources to live in. We have the idea of compute engine instances or virtual machines. routing tables and firewalls and ports that we open and close and all that fun stuff. It's all the same. It's just the interface is different, right? AWS looks different. The buttons you click are different, but the concept is identical. So if you know one, really you know the other. Okay. Um, there's very few things up in the various cloud environments that don't have an analog in the other one. Azure might be a little bit different because they play in the Windows ecosystem, but other than that, there's still similar things in there too. Okay, I'm going to end this video now before I end up doing the whole lab just for funsies. So I will see you all next time. Bye, everybody.